Hey guys, today I want to talk about 10 things that will happen to you when you meet a nice Filipina after a toxic relationship. And all of us have gone through toxic relationships here in the Philippines and back home and everything. And I want to talk about this a lot because this is like a big thing with a lot of guys over here recently, that they've gone through toxic relationships. And I saw this story, and I'm going to add to it, and I'm going to give it my own way of telling the story. I'm going to read some of it, and some of it I'm going to like add to and everything. And this was online, I found. And it says, after emerging from a toxic relationship can feel an insurmountable challenge. The wounds are still fresh. Trust is shattered. Fears loom large. It's as if you're walking through a field of emotional landmines, petrified that your next step might trigger an explosion of past traumas. This is very true with a lot of expats over here, because a lot of expats have come from trauma of bad relationships and stuff. And it says, the ghost of your toxic past haunts your present, casting a long dark shadow over your future relationships. And I've seen this with tons of expats over here. A lot of guys carry their baggage and they don't know how to move on because they carry that trauma. And it is trauma. You can say it's not, but it really, really is trauma for a lot of these guys. And I mean, some of these guys end up being kind of toxic themselves because they carry that trauma with them and they don't know how to move on past it. And you got to kind of move on past that toxicity thing, because you were treated in a toxic way or whatever, and you know, you kind of carry that trauma, and it's hard for you to move into a relationship. We're going to get into like the 10 things, and it says, here are the 10 things that happen when you find a healthy relationship after a toxic one. You know, and it says you're skeptical at first. It says when you've been in a toxic relationship, it's normal to question intentions of a new partner. This skepticism is a natural defense mechanism, a way to guard yourself against further emotional harm. And you might anticipate negative outcomes and misinterpret actions as red flags, even when they're not. Okay, now keep that in mind, because I've seen a lot of guys here that everything's a red flag. Literally everything is a red flag, and they're not. You know, that's just not true. And it says, however, as your relationship evolves and proves to be safe and trustworthy, these doubts will gradually diminish. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that takes time, patience, consistent positive experiences. It's important to remember that it's okay to be cautious as to learn to trust again. Okay, and that's the key right there. A lot of guys, they lost that trust for being in a relationship. And here's the key right here, and it mentions this. It mentions about as your relationship evolves, and it takes time and patience and consistent positive experiences. The key word there really is time. Okay, time kind of makes it better. And number 2 is, here we go, trust takes time, you know, and trust is a delicate thing, especially after experience a toxic relationship. You find yourself in a heightened state of alertness, almost expecting things to fall apart. You know, you look more for faults. Even little things can set you off, and you may want to be more aware and more heightened to the fact that sometimes you're gonna be a little touchy. And I've seen this with guys that have come off toxic relationships here. I've noticed it in my own life many times, you know, that you come off a toxic relationship and your trust is just not there anymore. And you got to kind of let people into your life and see how they work out. And if it doesn't work out, then, you know. But also I want you guys to be careful, especially in the Philippines, because some of the Filipino women here can be brutal, and we've talked about that in the past. But trust is rebuilding trust requires time, patience, consistent positive experiences. A good partner will understand this and provide you with the reassurance and ability you need. And gradually, as you see their consistent actions aligning with the words, your trust in them and relationships will start to mend. And that's a key right there, is what I just said. You know, you want a person that understands where you came from, understands that you came from a toxic relationship. And number 3 is you appreciate the small things. And I noticed this in my current relationship is that after a toxic relationship, you gain new appreciation for simple acts of kindness and respect, a partner's genuine care, respect for your personal boundaries, okay, and open communication become invaluable. These might seem like small aspects, but they significantly contribute to creating a safe and loving environment in a relationship. And that's so true, man. You know, every time I had a relationship after a toxic relationship, and I've had a few toxic relationships that we all have, I when it started getting really safe and loving, that's like the best part of the relationship. A person they'll help you build that trust and show that your feelings and comfort are priorities too. Over time, these consistent positive experiences will help you combat the negative patterns from your past and reinforce the understanding of what a healthy and respectful relationship looks like. I mean, I've been really lucky and blessed with this girl that I'm with right now, and we're still in the beginning stages, kind of, and I feel comfortable and I feel really, really good about this relationship, and we'll see where it goes, and it's I don't want the relationship to spin out of control and move too fast. And a lot of guys, they let relationships move way, way too fast. Sometimes they'll date a girl here in the Philippines and the girl's already talking about moving in. Don't let that happen. Get to know the person first. I got to know my girlfriend as a friend first, and then it became more than that. Just kind of slow down, take it easy, pull those reins back and say, you know what, I'm going to slow down a little bit. This is because I'm empty right now, and I want to feel that affection and love and be in a really good relationship and not feel lonely anymore. And a lot of older guys that come to the Philippines, expats, they're lonely, and I see them coming over here, and the first girl they meet, they want to marry them in 2 weeks or something like that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy, because there's so many decent girls in the Philippines, but there are a lot of toxic ones. There's a lot of scammers looking for money. You got to be careful, and date for a while, different girls, and then let them know. Say, look, I'm just dating right now. I just want to go out to dinner and talk and get to know you, and then you can pick and choose which one, and date them a few times. Say, listen, let's go out again. I like you, or if you see one and there's too many red flags or something, remember, some of those red flags might not really be red flags because you're on heightened alert, so be careful of that. It mentions that in this article here too. Number 4, past traumas resurface. Okay, encountering a good partner doesn't erase, the traumas of the past toxic relationships. Sometimes specific situations or discussions can trigger intense reactions, and I find this to be true, as they remind you of as they remind you of your past experiences. It's crucial to have open communication with your partner about these feelings, making them aware of your triggers and how best to support you, and that's key. They really need to know what triggers you. Let them know that this here triggers me, it gets me angry because of this here, and it's not because of you, it's because of my past, and I don't want that to happen in this relationship. So be careful of doing that because it hurts me, just let them know. It's equally important to consider, and that's why communication's key. If you have a girl that doesn't have good communication skills, it's not worth getting involved with. A lot of guys like girls that don't have good communication skills because they can kind of rule the roost, and I don't think that's a good relationship. It's equally important to consider seeking professional help. This sometimes is huge, such as therapy or counseling. These professionals can provide strategies and techniques to help you navigate through your emotional responses, facilitating your healing process and aiding in the establishment of healthier relationship patterns. I have a couple of good friends back home. I have a friend of mine, Debbie, back home I talk to. I have my sister that I talk to, and I have my friend Rich back home, and I have friends here too that I talk to, and all of them kind of help me from getting over things, and not just with stuff like this, but just being there for me when I need help. It's good to have very tight relationships and friendships, and I have a few. I have quite a few, and I'm very lucky, but it's probably like about maybe 5 solid 5 to 10 solid relationship friends that I have that I would, let know what's going on. I also have Eugene here and a few other guys here that I talk to on a, like, almost like a level of they're like family to me. We have Rich here and many other people here, and I'm leaving some out. But there's many here that have assisted me through tough times here, a lot of people, and I've mentioned them in the past. Number 5, you learn what healthy love feels like. And that's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. After a toxic relationship, you start to discern the stark difference between love and manipulation. You come to understand that love is rooted in mutual respect, empathy, and support. It's about two individuals cherishing each other's individuality, not one exerting control or inducing fear in the other. And that's key, inducing fear. Love encourages growth and freedom, not confinement and dread. Okay, that's a huge truth here in the Philippines, because you can find a lot of people here that can be very controlling, and that's usually one of the issues in the Philippines. A lot of guys see here, and you have to watch out for it. That's a huge red flag. This realization is empowering and liberating, marking a significant step in your healing journey, helps you to redefine your expectations from relationship and guide you towards healthier, more fulfilling connections. Huge. And number 6, you reclaim your independence. In a healthy relationship, your individuality is not only respected but also celebrated. You're encouraged to pursue your passions, maintain your friendships, and have personal space. This means you're not constantly tethered to your partner. That's key. One thing about my current girlfriend, I like being around her. I like having her around me. And sometimes people like having that type of relationship. So it's okay to have somebody that's, I wouldn't say tethered to you, but around you a lot. But my girlfriend goes in and out and does her things, goes visit her family. But I'm here and I'm waiting, and sometimes I go do my own things too. And that's good to have that personal space. You have the freedom to be your own person. And this respect for individuality is a breath of fresh air, especially after a toxic relationship where your independence may have been suppressed or whatever. This newfound freedom can be incredibly empowering for a lot of people too, and inspiring too, allowing you to rediscover who you are, while simultaneously building a strong, balanced relationship with your partner. And that's key. And you'll notice that your self-esteem will start improving too, and that's number 7. So your self-esteem improves when you're with a partner who truly respects and appreciates you for who you are. Your self-esteem will significantly improve. So when you notice your self-esteem getting better, you're usually in the right relationship. Okay, they see your worth, value your opinions, and love you unconditionally, which helps you see a new light. You start to view yourself through their eyes, recognizing your strengths and qualities that they cherish. Now, excuse me. This is really key here. A partner who truly respects and appreciates you and for who you are and yourself, and that's when your self-esteem starts improving. They see your worth, value your opinions, and love you unconditionally. And this is something I want to mention. Remember that word, love you unconditionally. Now, this is something that a lot of expats have a problem with, okay? Filipinos are diehard lovers and diehard in a relationship. Most of them, not all. There's that, probably like 30% or whatever it is out there. But when you find a decent girl over here, they're unconditional. They're unconditional love. They might get mad at you once in a while or something like that, but respect that and give them that unconditional love. Don't say, if you do this, I'm going to leave. If you do this, I'm going to leave. If you do this, I'm going to leave. That way, you don't have a good relationship if you have to say that. So keep that in mind. You do have to set up boundaries. I'm not saying not to set boundaries. Just say, if this, I don't want this to happen. And say it does. I just don't feel safe in the relationship. I'm not saying I'm going to leave, but it just bothers me and hurts me, and it damages our relationship. It's not I'm going to get up and leave and take off every time something happens. I don't think that's a good, healthy relationship. So usually, you'll know you're in a good relationship if you feel comfortable, and you don't have to say that. So keep that in mind, guys. This kind of love and respect encourages positive self-image and fosters growth. The feeling of being valued and loved unconditionally is incredibly uplifting and affirming, paving the way for a healthier and happier you. And that's key right there. Number 8, you become more assertive. That can be both good and bad, sometimes depending on what kind of assertiveness you take on. In a toxic relationship, your feelings and needs may have been consistently dismissed or overlooked. However, in a healthy relationship, it becomes clear that your emotions are valid and crucial. Your partner listens to you, respects your feelings, and considers your needs. One thing I noticed in my current relationship and in good relationships that I had in the past was whenever I said, "Hey, honey, can we have a talk?" They would say, "Yeah, sure." And they listen to me, and they come back with what they have to say, and reaffirm your love for people all the time. Say, "I love you" a lot. I noticed in relationships that I had that were good relationships in the past, they didn't work out for one reason or another, but it doesn't mean it wasn't a good relationship even when it ended. We always said we love each other, even if we just became friends after. Sometimes we'd, even a year or two after, I remember, going out with some girls and then meeting them later on somewhere, and they give me a big hug and say, "Hey, I still love you. You're a good friend of mine," and that's a healthy relationship, because a lot of people break off and just end it and it's just done. And I understand why sometimes here in the Philippines, it's probably best in the Philippines when you end a relationship, just end a relationship here. And I see that more and more. But these people become more assertive. It becomes clear that your emotions are valid and crucial. Your partner listens to you, respects your feelings, considers your needs. This revelation encourages you to become more assertive in expressing your emotions, articulating your needs, without fear of rejection or ridicule. That's key, man, right there. That without fear of rejection or ridicule. Because if your girlfriend's saying, "Well, I'm going to leave," because you're asserting your rights in the relationship, then that's a red flag, But if it's healthy, she's not going to reject you or ridicule you. It is this newfound assertiveness and self-advocacy are key elements in maintaining a mutually respectful and fulfilling relationship. That's fantastic. When you start having a relationship like that, it's really great. Number 9, this is huge. You start to heal. Healing after a toxic relationship is huge. And after you go through a toxic relationship, sometimes you need to tell your friends, "Hey, I don't want to talk about that anymore," because we tend to kind of talk about that. I've talked about toxic relationships after going through them all through my life. It's just part of the healing process. But you gotta tell people around you, "Look, can you do me a favor, not talk about this anymore, because I just don't want to talk about it anymore. Otherwise, it just keeps resurfacing all those bad memories and stuff like that." And you really need to start to heal and let yourself heal. But it says here, healing from a toxic relationship is indeed a long and often challenging journey, and that's so true. But being in a healthy relationship can facilitate this process. A supportive partner helps you gradually release the burdens of the past hurts and shift your focus to the present moment. They provide a safe space for you to heal at your own pace while showing you what a loving, respectful partnership looks like. Man, nothing is better than that. There's nothing better than having a partner that is loving, respectful, and lets you heal in your own space. Although the healing process can be painful, it is also an incredibly liberating experience. It allows you to break free from past traumas, regain your sense of self, and open your heart to healthier, happier relationships. And that's the thing, the key. A lot of guys that are traumatized can no longer open their heart. They don't know what a happier relationship can be. Sometimes you're the toxic one, and you have to look inward when you jump into a relationship and say, "Well, I gotta be careful what I say, because I got my big mouth. I got this here." Remember, part of the healing also is learning to be a better person. Part of healing is becoming a better person and getting rid of that past baggage, that past bad you. So keep that in mind. We're not all perfect, okay, too. Number 10, you realize you deserve better. Meeting a good person after a toxic relationship often leads to the crucial realization that you deserve better. You understand that you are worthy of respect, unconditional love, and a relation that supports and nurtures you. This newfound understanding is not just uplifting, but also empowering. It helps you establish boundaries. Those are key. Demand respect. Refuse to settle for less than what you deserve. Recognizing your worth. Remember, these people also have boundaries and also should have respect from you. And they should, they shouldn't have to settle for less than what they deserve too. If you're in a relationship, you have to give as much as you receive. Recognizing your worth is a significant step towards breaking the cycle of toxic relationships. A lot of people fall into toxic relationships over and over and over and over and over again. And you need to break that, okay? And when you do get into a good relationship, you're gonna be like, embrace it, because it's wonderful to be in a wonderful relationship like that. I remember being in a relationship back home, and it was a wonderful, wonderful relationship. But I was moving, and I remember being in that relationship, and it was the woman was just a tremendous woman, and I had to break the relationship, and I felt bad. But we remained friends after, and still to this day we remain friends. And she was just a good person, and sometimes you need to move on from things like that, because or you see things in there that the person's still a good person, but maybe they have too many kids, or maybe they have some issues that you can't deal with, but it doesn't make them a bad person. It's just that you can't deal with some of the things that are in their life. They might be the most awesome woman in the world, but there's just one or two things that you can't live with, and that's okay to that's good that you're seeing that, because if you were to get married or stay in a long-term relationship with that person, that'll always be hanging there. You got to make sure that you can live with everything from that woman. Let's see. It says recognizing your worth is a significant step towards breaking the cycle of toxic relationships, helping you move forward into a healthier, more fulfilling partnerships. This realization is a testament to your resilience, growth, and self-love. Self-love is important too. You need to love yourself before you love anybody else. You need to love yourself and be happy with your own skin. Final thought: meeting a good woman after a toxic relationship can be a transformative experience. It's not always easy. It requires patience and understanding from both sides. But with time, you'll find that it's possible to move past the trauma of a toxic relationship and embrace the possibility of a healthier love life. That's a fantastic thing there, that once you move past that toxic relationship and you move into a really good relationship, treasure that with everything you got. If you have a good woman, you're going to have problems, and realize that you're going to have problems sometimes. But you know what? Where you're not in a toxic relationship, usually you can talk those things out and tell your partner, say, hey, listen, I love you, and I don't want something to happen to us. And don't sound needy or anything like that, but just tell them, say, I love you. I don't want something to happen to us. I don't want to break off over something like this here, or split up. And actually, you shouldn't even probably say that. You should probably leave that out. Just say, listen, I want us to be solid all the time. I want us both to feel safe and happy, and we need to kind of move past this, and let's let it go, or meet in the middle. If you have a disagreement, or sometimes you might have to give in a little bit. It might not mean that much to give in. Maybe it's a few dollars, or maybe it means letting your mother-in-law come sleep over for a weekend or something. Something stupid like that. But anyway, I want to put this out. I thought this would help you guys out there, and I think this here will help a lot of guys in the Philippines that are overcoming past toxic relationships. And most guys, let's face it, that come into the Philippines bring that baggage with them, and this will help you just get rid of that baggage and move on, and kind of take a look at how you get past a toxic relationship. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope this helped a lot of guys out there, and I think it will. God bless, guys. Take care. And let me know in the comments what you think. And also add your comments about things in here. See how you feel about things. Let me know how you feel about these 10 items that I put in here. Give me your comments. Everybody would love to read them. God bless. Take care, guys.